heard about like there was the Australian regional coming up, so I'm like, oh, I'll just pop along. Like there wasn't like any kind of qualifying process at that point. I DNF'd that first year because I couldn't ring dip. I went back the following year to Renwick Raceway and I placed fourth, which was obviously like a good step up, but it was disappointing because I'd spent the weekend in first place and fell to fourth in the final event. But it probably really sort of lit a fire under my butt and joined my local Olympic lifting club and really worked my strength, and probably that's been a fairly big focus for the last good 2 years of training anyway. It's been really improving my strength and placed second in the last 3 regionals. Yeah, so that kind of worked out. At the World Games, I've had sort of mixed results. I've tended to have, as Lindsay said, done fairly well in some of the endurance events and things that have come up. I placed 31st the first year I went, and 17th last year and 15th this year. This year's been a fairly challenging one for me. I've had some problems with my thoracic vertebrae and vertebrae in my neck, and that was fairly well flared up before the games, so it was great to still be able to compete at the games. I certainly gave it my all. It was all I had on that weekend, but I definitely feel like I had some unfinished business to sort that stuff out and go back and perform in full health next year. So yeah, that's my focus. I met Lindsay really through Dusty. We competed together 3 years ago when we first went, but we didn't really know each other. And then I met Dusty Highland, won the gymnastics start and ran one in Melbourne, and he said, "Oh, you should come and train." And I was like, "Oh." So I rang him up a few weeks later, and I was like, "Oh, no, you said I should come and train. Can I actually come?" And I went out there and spent a month with training with Lindsay and under Dusty, and obviously really worked hard on improving my gymnastics with him. And since then I've had 4 trips out. I've had 4 trips out to the States for a good sort of month at a time, solid, to really spend and it's been fantastic to really be able to spend that time just focused on my training while I'm here and focusing on getting better at gymnastics and having that good competition from Lindsay and the year from Sam. That's all.
We've got one from Facebook, so just to kick off. Have you got any pre-competition rituals? Do you chill out with music, read a book, meditate, go for a walk, yell at the wall, yell at your coach?
For me, I just run through exactly what I need to do in the workout. So if I've got a game plan in mind, I just run that through my head. How many reps I'm going to do, or whether it's a long transition, just tell myself, make sure you run from exercise to exercise. Just really run through in my head exactly what I'm going to do in the workout. I'm not superstitious or anything like that. I don't do anything crazy like that. Just pretty much run through exactly what I'm going to do in the workout, so when I get out there, it happens. And just focus on exactly what I have to do, not have my head anywhere else. It's me.
Pretty much the same thing. I usually listen to some music and like a little memo or like a clip from my coach that I have for volleyball at my university. Probably heard that on the games site. Coaching Lindsay Valenzuela, there's a little snippet on there. It's a little bit more rough. They didn't put that part in there, but she's a really great lady. I usually do my PT stuff for my back before every workout, and I get pretty quiet. Not like scared quiet, I guess kind of like a scary quiet. Everyone's like, you they're so intense, but you're so nice outside of competition. I'm like, just kind of turns on right away.
Yeah.
As soon as we're lining up.
Yeah. Yeah, I like to listen to music, really just to spend that time visualizing, and I think kind of when you're listening to music, it's kind of telling people like you don't really want to have a conversation at that point. Like you're really just thinking about what you're going to be doing out there. So that's not really probably what I'm listening to. It's more just helping me be in my space. Yeah, visualizing. That would be all.
All right, I've got a question here. Lindsey, this one's for you. What does it take to be first?
What does it take to be first? I would say I think you have to be a well-rounded athlete, but I think that a big aspect that people forget about, not just in CrossFit but in life, is that it's a big mental game. So you have to be mentally strong because you can be the best athlete out there, but if you don't know how to deal with the mental games that you're going to play with yourself and outside elements are going to play with you, you're just going to go as far as your talent is going to take you. So I think it's important to build your mental strength, whether that's building or reading books, going to a retreat. I did SEAL Fit in October, so that's not for the faint of heart. But I think it also has a lot to do with what's programmed for that weekend. If it falls in your favor, it's going to help you out a lot. But just, rolling with the punches and trying to be consistent, because I don't think I won any workouts at the games. I was just consistently placing in the top. So just trying to be consistent, I guess.
Follow that up, Brett. Can Rich be big?
Can Rich be big? Well, I reckon Jason's clip was pretty close. He just, I don't know whether it was that mental aspect towards the end of the games or what it was, but he was looking very strong first 2 days, and then maybe had a couple of bad workouts. I don't know whether that or just depending on what shows up. Like, obviously the first couple of days he was killing it, had 3 wins in a row, so yeah, I think it really comes down to, he can be beat, just depends on what shows up, I guess. I think, yeah, someone will do it. Eventually.
Yeah, one day.
You said, I can't remember which year it was, either leading up to 2012 or 2013 games, you were really focusing on your mental game?
Yep.
Because you kind of fell apart the year before?
That was after
So-
2012.
Okay. So what did that look like for you? I mean, were you working with a sports psychologist, or how did you actually focus on your mental game?
Yeah, a little bit to do with that, but I knew what I needed to do. Just being aware of how you're thinking, like even during training. So for 2011 I went through it, I'd say I was mentally good through that, but wasn't aware of how I was thinking. I think you need to have awareness of exactly what you're thinking most days of the week. It's hard to go through, some days you go through the motions, but the less you can do that, the better. So I think through my everyday training, I was making sure that I was, switching on, also staying focused during workout, not getting sidetracked and going elsewhere, and making sure that you give it 110% every single time that you go at it, which is hard to do. That takes training and it takes a bit of practice. And did a couple of competitions, local competitions, and when it starts to get hard, like on day 3, you remind yourself that you want to do this and this is what you enjoy doing, not that you have to do these last workouts because you're tired. So I think that's a big thing too. So it's a big competition in Victoria, Schwartz's Comp, and on day 3 I was, day 2 we'd done probably I think about 6 or 7 workouts going to the last one. You could see everyone was really tired and I was like, let's do it again. I was excited to do the workout. were comparing to the games and almost felt like you had to do the workout. It's a big difference. It's just your mental game, your attitude going into every workout. If you can have that good attitude and knowing that you want to do it and this is what you enjoy doing, you're going to get a lot more out of it and you're going to be happy at the end of the weekend. So that was probably the biggest thing. Yeah.
I've got one directed at all three of you. What is a typical training day like for you guys?
Start from that.
So for me, when I'm at home, I train slightly different to I do when I'm training with Lindsay. Usually break it up into 2 sessions. In my morning or sometimes early afternoon, depending on other things I have on, is basically like the CrossFit session of my day. So I usually spend that time to work on a skill which is usually quite gymnastic based for me. And skill work can be sort of anywhere between 10 minutes and half an hour. And then a workout which will be like programmed by Dusty. At the moment, sort of doing a bit more interval work.
Yeah.
Has been fairly low key, to be honest, for the last month for myself. But yeah, that kind of thing. And then it'll usually be like a second workout, which is more conditioning stuff. So it'll be fairly untechnical. One that we actually were supposed to do today, but didn't. It was 12 calorie row and then 20 push up for 4 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like really like not very technical, but just like a good sort of cardio push. And in the evening, I do my lifting usually because that's when I can be with my Olympic lifting coach. So that's really the reason I've broken it up that way. But I do quite like it being in 2 sessions. It would sort of be approximately 2 hours morning or early afternoon, and then 2 hours in the evening when I'm in full training. It's not very specific, but it gives you a bit of an idea.
So I coach in the morning and at night, and then I also live about an hour and a half from where I coach and I train. So I do all mine in one sitting. So it's about with all the joking around I do with people I train with. I keep it light. It's fun. I started CrossFit because it was something fun to stay fit. So I try to keep it that way. It probably takes about 3.5 hours. 3 hours. I eat while I train, so I'll be lifting and I'll be eating. I don't know. I just enjoy it. So I have that luxury right now. So I'm gonna take advantage of it. But I have a skill session that I'll have a lift, which is pretty, like Ruth said, pretty low key right now. We're still trying to let our bodies kind of recover from a year of just pounding and from the games. So actually right now it's kind of hard for me to let back a little bit. We decided not to do the conditioning. I'm like, oh man, like I should be doing this. And I was like, I need to go on a walk. So I went on a walk and we got some coffee. But then I'll do my Metcon and then conditioning after. And right now it's more interval based to kind of keep up that high intensity, but learn to somewhat pace during a workout.
So for me, I'm at the gym pretty much all day. So I run and own my own gym, but we've got a fairly large setup, so it's not like I'm going to be working out all day. So we've got most days eight classes in a day. Most days, we've got 8 classes in a day. So it's a fair few hours of the week, and I usually train from about 2:30 p.m. and train through the first afternoon class, so until about 5:30 some days, and sometimes further. So anywhere between 2.5 hours and 3 hours. So I'll do it in one sitting. It'd probably be better to split it up, but I sort of can't fit it in. So yeah, I usually do lifting first, a bit of strength stuff, a bit of gymnastic stuff, then a wide, and then some accessory stuff at the end of that. So it sort of drags out. Some days, it's 3 hours, maybe 3.5 if I'm talking too much in between, but that sometimes happens. So I've got a couple of guys that come in the gym pretty early, which is good. They don't really push me too much, but it's just good having someone around to train with. That's another reason why I don't like to train any other time of the day, because I've got those couple of guys that I can just, talk shit with and just have fun. And like I said, they don't necessarily push me on many things. One guy beats me on the rower, that's about it. So yeah, it's just, like Lindsay said about having fun and just enjoying it. Otherwise it just becomes a chore and you don't want to do it anymore. So again, that's a mental side of things as well, making sure you put yourself in that place where it's fun every day, not just like if you try to play the games every day, it's just you burn yourself out. That's what my day looks like.
Do you find that the more famous that you get in CrossFit world, do you find more and more people lining up at the door of your box wanting to train with you?
Now that there's more popping up around the area, yes, we have people coming in just to check it out. But most people that you get through the door, it's their first exposure to CrossFit. They have no idea who you are. Okay. Most of the time, but now that there's more gyms around the area, you get people coming in just because of the reputation, I guess. Yeah.
More towards the girls. How did you guys psychologically, how did it come across when you heard that Nanny wasn't going to be in the game? And what was the sort of feeling at the game when you knew that she wasn't going to be competing? Did it affect you guys in any way?
No, because I still wanted to win.
Yeah. Anyway.
I don't think it would have changed anybody's feeling. I don't really think anyone honestly paid too much mind to it. I felt for her because I had a pretty bad back injury. Right after, actually, we went head-to-head in Brooklyn the following week. I have an 8mm bulging L4. So I got through that week's workout with 3 back braces on. So I was lucky just to have the support system and catch it early. And for a while I thought my season was over, so I contacted her and I feel for her, but I don't know the extent to her injury. But I don't really think it changed anybody's attitude of what they knew they had to accomplish and how they were going to accomplish it. I think the games this year, and not just saying this because Sam's one of my good friends, I think they were meant for her to win. Those workouts were in her wheelhouse, and I don't think it would have changed the results.
Yeah, I would agree with all that. I think when you get to that level, if you're really thinking about anyone else's workout when you're planning for your own, you're probably not going to be in a good mental space. So for me it was always tackling the workout the best way I could. So I wouldn't have really been giving too much thought as to how the next person was going to be tackling it, and it would be the same with Annie. But yeah, for sure, I mean, I think she was missed. It would have been great if she could have been there, but it was what it was, and maybe she'll be back.
Question from Facebook. 2 I'm going to run together. 1, do you drink alcohol? And B, how much sleep are you going to get in the night, and does it change during the competition?
I don't drink alcohol. I have my sisters. Hey? I used to go out every weekend and stuff. I'm sure everyone else did that. But since CrossFit, it's just since I started, slowly died off. Even I had my brother-in-law's bucks. Maybe had 1 or 2 drinks. That's it. The game season, I know now is probably maybe a decent time to do it, but I know it's going to ruin 3 or 4 days of training if I have too many. So, and I don't enjoy my training when I feel that way. I feel like everyone else in the gym, struggling to breathe. And stuff I don't like that feeling, so I don't do it. The
How much sleep?
Oh yeah. Try to get at least 9 hours of sleep every night. If I'm taking the 6 a.m. session, so you have to take. Depends on the week. 3 one week, 2 the next. I'll only get like 7 hours or 7.5, but then I'll.
You have kids?
No. And then I'll have a nap after. Need my sleep. That's where your juicy testosterone.
Coaching and training and
Yeah.
when do you nap?
Hey,
When do you nap?
straight after the 6 a.m. go home, sleep for an hour, get up, go back to the gym.
Well, I don't drink, but after the games, I had quite a few beers because my hands hurt so bad. They were so raw. But no, I don't drink. I might occasionally have a beer every once in a while, but I don't really like how it makes me feel the next morning. And I'm a baby when it comes to headaches, so I prefer not to have a headache and just not drink it. I'm a caffeine freak, so I'd rather have just 5 coffees during the day. That'd be perfectly fine, which I do. Sleep, it varies. When my husband works nights, he's in law enforcement, I don't sleep that well because I have to get home. I usually get home around 9. I have 2 dogs, so I gotta take care of them. I gotta take care of whatever chores are left at home. I have to cook dinner, I have to shower, and then by the time I get in bed, it's probably like 11:30. And then I wake up on an average at 7 a.m., probably the latest 8. So I don't get that much sleep, but I wish I would get more. But I guess it's preparing me for kids somewhat in the future. But I probably should get more, but it just depends. So right now I'm not sleeping very much.
Yeah, it's something I've been working on getting more sleep for sure, because there's definitely been times in the last few years of my training that it's been not enough. So it's definitely something I've been working on. Probably getting about 8 hours at the moment. What was the other question? Oh, drinking. I probably wouldn't even drink if I wasn't an athlete, because it's never reacted well with me. So I'm not really sure that I made that decision based on my. I had a beer after.
Yes.
Yeah.
I bought it for her.
But in terms of a training season, yeah, I probably wouldn't be a drinker anyway. So I don't know if I've made the decision based on my training. I just can't handle the deck.
I got one big audience. How has the games experience as an athlete changed over the years you've been there? So in the three years that you guys have been, how has it changed?
I remember sitting, in 2010, I remember, buying a ticket, and it was like $60, first of all. And sitting in the stands, and it wasn't, no one had uniforms, there wasn't Reebok, it wasn't majorly sponsored yet. It had just moved to Carson, so I've seen it also, and I used to watch it when it was in Aromas, so I've seen it go from a dirt ranch to this huge production of this year being televised live on Sunday, and last year it wasn't live at all on ESPN, so I've seen it grown from this, small little competition to this huge worldwide event that, is just starting, is on the cusp of getting more world recognition, I think. And it's kind of cool to see. I think we're just like how BMX started being televised. I think that's where we are right now. And, athletes are learning the business side of things, and we're getting more exposure, and I get stopped on the streets, which is weird sometimes, but I enjoy it. I think it's just getting bigger. I'm excited to see how it grows and how the younger generations are going to really benefit from it.
That's covered it all. Much beautiful.
Lindsay, at the games in the 2.2, I think it was just at the end there, we were really emotional, and I was just wondering whether we were emotional because we knew you come second, or did you not know? Just won't end up with a lunge. I think the time cut out there. I was like, did you know you?
Well, I saw my husband and my coach, and I was like, did I do it? And I was like trying to figure it out, and I was like, did my third? Because I didn't really, I thought I was third, because I went into the last event third, and I was okay with that. I was like, heck yeah, I'm third. I went into the games just wanting to be in the top 5, and I think knowing myself, I've always put higher goals every year, so I think I would have just been just as happy, but I think I was emotional because it was finally something that I told myself last year that I would do, and like I said, I remember buying my ticket in 2010. I remember saying, I'm going to make it to the games in 2011. 2012, I was like, I'm going to be in the top 15. I made it in the top 10. Last year, I said, I'm going to be in the top 5. Somewhere in the top 5. I would love to be on the podium, but if I make it in the top 5, if I'm 4th or 5th, then that'll be my goal for this year. I remember they were trying to interview me, and I'm like, I need to find my husband, first of all, because he sees what I go through day in, day out, and having that big struggle with my back this year, and how much effort and time, and you know, there's some days where it sucks. It's not what it seems like on the HQ videos, and there's days where, yesterday they asked if have you ever felt like you wanted to quit. I'm not a quitter, so I've never felt like I want to quit, but you get beat down sometimes, and you just don't feel like you're like this great athlete that everyone thinks you are. So it was very emotional, very something that I wanted to accomplish, and I knew I could, but I didn't think I could get second. I mean, I thought I could do it, but I didn't think I did it. I thought I was third. I don't know if that makes sense.
Just for all of you, what's your favourite movement and also your favourite hero or benchmark workout?
I really enjoy rope climbs when you get to use your legs. I sort of changed my mind on that after they threw that way. But I do enjoy rope climbs, yeah, using the rest of your body. And thrusters I've always liked for some reason. lighter weight thrusters. Higher rep. So yeah, they're a couple of movements that I really enjoy. Enjoy benchmark workouts. I like the hero ones, I like the longer ones. Some like Badger, the heap of squat cleans and 30 pull-ups and long runs. That's my sort of workout. That's something that I was always good at when I first started. Crossfit is the shorter, heavier stuff that I've always had to work on. So.
I like deck sit handstand push-ups. So those have always been something that I really liked. Pretty good at them, so that probably helps. I really like the Murph. I like Murph. Traditional. I did that seal fit with about 24 hours no sleep, and in boots and cargo pants and a backpack with sandbag in it, which sucks even worse than a weight vest because it's like moving all over the place. But I just like what it stands for and the story behind. So, very selfless man.
I don't know, for a workout, I don't have a particular favourite, but for movements, in terms of gymnastic movements, I probably prefer pull-ups over everything else. So I hate handstand push-ups. In terms of lifting, I like cleans or any of the squatting movements. And generally I like the workouts with runs. Running is good.
And before the lady was talking about goals, how do you set a goal in your head without going, oh, this is too unrealistic? You know, you're saying, oh, I'm being top 5. There's always that little voice that says, no, that's just too much. You know, maybe aim for the following. How do you make it realistic?
I try to set small goals that build upon a huge goal. So last year, for example, my first goal was to finish every workout. My second goal was to make it to the last day. My third goal was to make it to the last workout. My fourth goal was somewhere in the top 15, and my ultimate goal was top 10. So I kind of build on each other. For me, setting, I know it sounds kind of corny, but I have that role model belief. For me, it's not just saying I believe I can do it. It's, yes, it's that, but you have to be willing to put in the hard work, because it's more mental, and then it's also physical, putting in the hard work, but also just picturing it. The sights, the smell, the visions, everything that comes along with accomplishing that goal. You can say it, and but if you have that mental thought of I'm not going to be able to do it, you're automatically putting negative words out in your atmosphere. So you kind of have to really tell yourself, no, I can do this. It's not going to be easy, but I believe I can do this. It's going to take finding a solution to accomplish it, but once I find that solution, no one can stop me.
I think like when you achieve goals, it kind of reinforces to yourself that you can achieve that, and then you can make that next one. So I guess for me that is really helped. Like, you know, I'm like, okay, well, this is really hard, but remember where I started from. It used to just be me training in the garage, and it got me to here, so I can do the next bit, you know. So I guess, yeah, for me, kind of that was like positive reinforcement.
For me, if I decide I'm going to do something, I'll do it. Doesn't matter what it is. If I decide to do something, whether it's, you know, open a bigger CrossFit gym or whatever, or with my training, if I decide that's what I want to do, I'll do everything I need to get there. And it doesn't really change once I've decided that's what I want. So I didn't really have a goal on placing this year. I just wanted a big change from the previous year, like where I didn't feel like I had to do it or wasn't having fun. So that was the biggest thing for me coming away from last year, is it needs to be fun, need the enjoyment back in there, and to fire up for every workout and make sure you give it everything you've got. That was my goal going into this year, and I was happy with it at the end. I felt like I achieved that, you know. Maybe I need to have that little bit more of a push to try and get up a bit higher, you know. It might force me to do a little bit extra work during the year, but I felt like I did as much as I could, you know. Training 3 hours a day is a fair bit, so it's not much more I could do, but it's just, you learn after every year and you try and change it up and tweak things every time and go back to the drawing board, so yeah.